Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of On the Paint Table. This is my weekly show where you see what I got done and what I'm working on and what is coming up. So, I only painted about 4 models this week. I've been very busy just with various home life stuff, and also, I had a whole bunch of projects come up, and all of a sudden it was a bit overwhelming. So, lots of new things on the paint table this week. A bunch of projects that are like pre-release, so some cool stuff to see, which will be in my GMG reviews coming up next week, as well as some stuff that's just not even out yet. It's all crazy new. So I painted up some enforcers. I painted up some new recruits for our Dark Uprising campaign. Another enforcer subjugator and just regular enforcer palatine patrolman. Or Palanite Patrolman. And then I finished Mr. J and Deadshot for the Batman miniature game. We got 7 more models to paint from that starter set, so we can give 3rd edition Batman a try. So mostly just gang members and Harley at this point. So anyway, let's see what I got done and what is coming up. So here's John's, and I can't remember the name of the subjugator. He's the door crasher there with his assault ram. And I painted these up in the same way as my last bunch. So if you're looking for a recipe, this is scale 75, smoke gray, dark gray, heather gray, very, very, very dark gray, dry brushed over top of just a black primer. And then base coat with scale 75 black metal for all the metallics, some Averland, actually some not Averland Sunset, some XV88 for all the yellows. The blues were all Cantor blue, the browns were all old Scorch brown, or you could use, I think it's Morfang brown now, and then washed with some of that lovely Nuln Oil gloss. When that was done, the base was painted with a XV88 base coat and then washed with some Agrax Earthshade gloss. I stippled in some Vallejo, just like rust at the same time, and let it dry, and that gave that nice finish, and then just dry brushed some Necron compound on it. And then Averland Sunset blended up through Bleached Bone for the yellows there, and the colored stuff, is Eldritch, P3 Eldritch, with some white blended into it for the lights and all the lenses and stuff. I blended up the Cantor blue with a little bit of beige and some Dryad bark on all the leather. And then I got John's here with his maul, and he's got a concussion carbine, which has been pretty useful actually. A lot of blast weapons in this army. You just kind of aim at the ground and knock people around, which is pretty cool. So they're done, and I gotta paint a couple more, just another rookie and some more just like dudes with shotguns and various odds and ends to bulk out the gang. Because we're getting up to the downtime period where after that everyone descends into cannibalism, so we'll see how that goes. And here's Mr. J and Deadshot. Mr. J, some old Lich Purple for base coat. I used, what's the orange? I think the Fugan Orange, maybe it's called. For the base there, and Warpstone Glow for the hair. Some old scale 75 black metal for the metal and the canister there. White just left, was it Pallid Witch Flesh for the skin, and then gave the whole thing a wash with Nuln Oil gloss. And then just highlighted it up, mixing some sort of beige into the old purple, mixing some Fire Dragon Bright, I think it is, into the oranges. And then just various highlights with scale 75, I think it's Emerald Green, I used for the greens. And there he is, all done. Didn't do him on his big base because I just like him separately. And then Deadshot, he was painted up with a base coat of, I think it's Flesh Terror on top of the white. The Gracier primer, the lighter of the two, or the cooler of the two, basically. And then some good old Agrax, no, not Agrax, or shade, my favorite brown, oh god, what's it called? Shared Granite for the base, blended up with grays and then washed and stuff too. Scale 75 black metal and some old chainmail for the metallics and the guns. And then this was that same smoky gray that I used as a base coat on the enforcers for his boots, just washed with some black. And then all the details done. And there he is, Deadshot Sans hood, just ready to rock and roll, killing some dudes for money. The first pile coming up stuff, what do we got here? We got some Oathmark. I'm stoked about this. This is all of the new, this is enough for one army, basically. I also got some Goblins and Goblin Wolf Riders and stuff that I gave to Owen to paint up, because he's going to try this out with me. And this is Oathmark stuff from Northstar and Ospreys. These are the official dwarves, which are very cool. They're very, like, Tolkien-y dwarves, which I think is awesome. They got, like, hoods, and they very much feel like my old illustrated Hobbit comic. And then some heavy dwarves, the heavy infantry, which have kind of a bit of the Khazad-dûmi dwarf feel from the Lord of the Rings, which I love, and then some elves. And the elves are actually quite nice. Elf infantry, basic elf infantry. You have 30 of each of these in a box, so tons of miniatures. And the characters are also fantastic. So there's some elf heroes, wizards and kings and musicians. I love the dwarf wizards and champions. Look at the wizard, he's awesome. Point and stuff. Big great weapons, big king there. So, and then 2 packs of heroes and champion models. Because dwarves have to have heroes. I don't know if there's a mix of like male and female dwarves too, which I think is super cool. And then we got some Warcaster Neo Mechanica. This is the new War Machine set in the far future game that Privateer Press is doing. And so what I have here is I have a Duskwolf Warjack, Light Warjack. I haven't built all of his arms and legs yet. I'm going to probably paint him in sub-assemblies because he has a variety of gun options. There's like 3 different underslung guns here. 2 arms, and then 2 shoulder guns. There's like a rocket pod and like a rail gun, and then 2 options ahead. So I want to do some research first before I finish building him, but I also have a fire team member. These are from the whatchamacallit, the Marcher Worlds. So they're kind of like nomad-y stuff. I really like this sculpt with his like hood. He's got kind of a Dune Fremen feel to him, which I think is pretty awesome. And then a giant like weird energy gun. And this is a Weaver. And this is basically your Warcaster, I think. And this is the alternate Weaver sculpt that was supposed to be at Adepticon, but obviously Adepticon's been canceled, so I'm sure they'll make it available some other way. Here's the rest of Mr. J's posse. It's got to get painted up, so this is the remainder of the gang from the starter set, along with Harley. I'm going to paint her as a separate piece and then glue her to her base, because her base is kind of ginormous. And I'll probably just do these in between other models, just trying to like get some stuff done in the next little while. I'm pretty jazzed to try the 3rd edition. It looks really cool. So these hopefully will get done for next week, and then we can give the game a try. And then boom, this showed up my porch last night. What? The Elder Scrolls Call to Arms. Man, these boxes are crazy. So these are the rule books. This is set in the Elder Scrolls, obviously, the time around Skyrim. So there's 3 boxes here to play with. I've got an Imperial Stormcloak faction starter sets with 5 figures, and then the plastic Bleak Falls Barrow Delve set, which also comes with the Dragonborn. So I'm pretty stoked. I haven't actually cracked the rule books yet, but then the rule book itself and the sort of like core box has all the tokens and all the widgets to play, the dice, which is pretty cool because I like that the actual like core rules are separate from the faction, so you can pick whoever you want to be your primary faction for your character. Kind of like when you're making a character in Skyrim. So your Dragonborn could be, you could be an Imperial, you could be a Stormcloak at some point. Like you can join all the factions. And the rulebooks and stuff here I'm going to start pouring through tonight to figure out the rules. So I'm super jazzed about this. There's some Draugrs, some Skeletons, all my favorite like delving stuff. So I'll be able to make some Dungeon Train, use my Dungeon Train to try this out. So you got another on the paint table, done it on the books, creeping up on 100 miniatures for this year. Just kind of enjoying what I'm painting, and yeah, so many new projects to try. So I'm gonna try and polish off the Batman stuff before I dive into any of this new stuff. And that's going to give me the opportunity to give that game a go. I'm also painting up the odds and ends I need to finish up for our Dust Falls the last one for Dark Uprising campaign. So Chris and I can round that off and descend into madness and cannibalism and murder. So there's a few more enforcers to get eaten by the Corpse Grinder cult. And then yeah, I'm stoked. I can't quite play the game. There's not enough stuff here to play the game for the Warcaster, but probably as like a palette cleanser in between projects, I'm going to try and paint up these Warcaster guys for Privateer Press. So look at my Instagram for that coming up in the future. Anyway, big thanks for watching. We'll see you next week for them on the paint table. Till then, I'm Ash. Have a gaming. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you want to support the channel, of course, like and subscribe and hit the little bell below so you get notifications when I post future content. I do post stuff 7 days a week. If you want to support the channel further, you can, of course, buy a t-shirt through Spreadshirts, buy a measuring gauge or objective markers from Death Ray Designs, or, of course, most importantly, there is Patreon. Patreon is what makes all this possible, keeps the lights on, pays for the studio costs, pays for the equipment, model costs, and everything else, and most importantly, puts food in my kids' bellies and a roof over their heads. Big thanks to everyone, past, future, who supported me. I do this stuff because of you guys, and of course, I will continue doing it as long as I can.